Hello, my Taurus family, and welcome to September 2020. We're going to get right into it today because as I was sitting with your energy, I immediately got the sense, the sentence, life philosophy shift ahead popped up. Now, I know this has been like a really big theme when we've been talking together for a while now. I would say this theme keeps coming up. This whole shifting of who you think you need to be, how you need to approach life, kind of the foundational basics of how you envision, the divine in your life, envision your own life mission, envision what this lifetime needs to mean to you, right? Like the really essential deep questions, the underpinnings, the actual fabric of how you imagine and connect with the deep integrity of this life. That's been a theme that's come up time and again, but it's here. It's here once again. And part of the reason for that is there's been these big transits happening in Capricorn, in your fellow earth sign, in your ninth house, which is a house of deeper learning and philosophy and just how we envision our world. And so Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto have all been working there for a long time. Now this month, both Jupiter and Saturn are going direct, and they're going to start finishing up their transits through Capricorn. It's a big deal for all of us. And for you, these last few months are really going to be a time for you to wrap up what you've learned about your life philosophy and how that's changed, especially since Saturn joined Capricorn in late 2017. There's another really big thing happening this month. You may or may not have heard about this little thing called Mars retrograde, but it is going to start on September 9th, and it's happening in Aries. And I believe the last time this transit happened was in the 80s, the 1980s. So this is pretty rare to have Mars in his home sign retrograding at this time. This is your neighboring sign of Aries. And if you're a Taurus rising especially, but even if you're a Taurus sun or moon, Mars is retrograding in your 12th spiritual house, which is all about hidden blessings and healing and reconnecting with the big divine, right? Like when we're tapped in, when we're in alignment, we're in 12th house harmony. And it's often known, it's often tied to secret hidden things. And I think it's partially because that kind of alignment and tapping in doesn't always translate to some kind of physical thing you can touch and put on a checklist, right? So this Mars retrograde for you is going to be highly spiritual. It's going to have a lot to do with healing how you feel you need to earn your acceptability to exist in this world, basically, right? Keep it light and fluffy. just a mellow, energetic transit for the next couple of months. But this is where that life shift philosophy, yes, you've been doing this work with all of that Capricorn stuff. This Mars retrograde is really going to bring it home for you, kind of bring it full circle for you. And this is why it's so important, because it is really going to help you connect with understanding that your work ethic, two cards came out. Aww. 2 of Cups and the Chariot. That's so wonderful. I love that so much. So much support there. Coming to terms with, you are not defined by your work ethic. Like by how much you force yourself to work, how much you force yourself to accomplish. You're not defined by how well you make things happen in life. You're not defined by, and even, you can take that even a step further. Sometimes, when we get to doing our spiritual work and doing our healing work, we start to get really perfectionist, 2 of Pentacles, about our practice. And maybe these bad things are happening because I have been terrible at my practice and I haven't been good enough and I haven't had a good enough work ethic with my practices, right? There's so many ways that that mentality that's most of us have been taught, that your value and your acceptability of existence in this life, Page of Wands, all right, comes from how much you deplete yourself over and over again, right? So this is getting hugely challenged for you at this time, and strength. Okay, Taurus, you have some support here this month. September is a straight talking month. That is the way that I'm going to just describe this month. It is about honesty. It is about integrity. It is about coming full circle. It is about finding greater harmony. It's about being just. It's the equinox, which is one of my favorite times of year. And Virgo and Libra both want to find the truth, right? They want to hear the truth. They want to have things understood, the energies themselves, right? And with you, the message that I see here, yes, life philosophy shift ahead. Yes, to allowing that perhaps you are accounted for more than just you alone with your harness on plowing the fields, right? That it's okay to let go of that being your value and that being like the ticket that allows you to be in the front row of the stadium, and that you're not just getting away with something. And all of these support cards are like, listen, you gotta just welcome that in at this time. I think we often are really uncomfortable. I'm going to get to the cards, but I just want to say this. People get a little intimidated by Mars retrograde, and they're scared and they're really uncomfortable with it because they're like, well, if the planet of like will and drive and that ability to act and make things happen is retrograde, won't we all just fall into a state of lazy ineptitude? Won't it just be 2 months of us getting nothing done? And that just goes to show you how much we have relied on Martian energy to be the machine through which we get things done. And how much that perspective, and this is one that's been built over hundreds of years, is hurting us. And I think with you, a Venusian-ruled sign, a Venus-ruled sign, it's really important to honor when Mars is retrograde that, your Venusian modality has so much value, right? So anyway, let's talk about these cards. Two of Cups and Chariot right out of the gate. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. This is like deep love commitment kind of stuff. Now, if you're not interested in relationships or that's not like your forefront thing, this is also about committing to like things that give your heart life, give you creative juice, set you on new courses. This is about, and that's the other thing with September. It's a big month of committing ourselves. And, once again, not just to what you consider oh yeah, we're getting married, having a baby, whatever. It's committing to practices that feel good to you, committing to friendships and to routines that feel good to you. It can be anything. But I gotta tell you, this right here is very love-filled energy, right? This is the kind of thing where you don't ever even have to overthink why something feels good. It's like, yes, I want that in my life. I want that to be a part of my life, like my day-to-day, my big heart romance, what have you. This is such good energy, and it's very simple. It's very simple. Now, I'm getting little shivers. Speaking of balancing, this is a month of balance and harmony. One of the key things with both of these cards is that even, give, and receive, right? That's one of the key components of this whole process is the even, give, and receive. And that being essential for anything that can come with you in the coming months, right? So that is there. Now, it's really interesting because in the middle of your reading, you have this Two of Pentacles, which is, often it's weighing something out, feeling you're a little bit of a fork in the road. And even deeper than that, this is about integrity. And that word just keeps coming up for September as well. Oh my gosh. Because the thing with the Two of Pentacles, I kind of love when this card comes up because, okay, this guy, he's standing in front of this rolling ocean, right? These big old waves are just rolling along. There are ships on there. And it's almost as though he thinks that in juggling these pentacles, he's going to somehow stop the rolling of the ocean. And if he just keeps playing this role, he's going to somehow fix it all. And that's pulling him out of his integrity, right? Because that's not how that actually works. And so one of the things that comes up with this card showing up here is that you don't have to choose the path that does not feel like it has integrity for you. You can choose it. And it's okay to take off the covering display of I'm doing so much. I'm being so much. I'm working so much. It's okay to take off that display face. I would honestly say that the cards surrounding that Two of Pentacles are so much about just like authenticity and kind of barefaced showing up that, there's really no room for you this month in needing to hide yourself behind a persona or a version, when we're talking about this life philosophy shift, right? Like there may be a version of yourself that made sense in your past life philosophy, but she doesn't fit or he doesn't fit now, or they don't fit now, right? Like you're not them anymore. Page of Wands and Strength are very creative, right? These are extremely creative, nurturing cards. They spark of divine light, divine inspiration, excuse me, that is coming through here for you. And I love this for Taurus because, and it's so interesting to me because I just think about, okay, what I was just saying about how much we think we need Mars in order for things to work in life. And yeah, Mars is great. Don't get me wrong. Like when we're feeling ourselves and we're feeling like driven and fiery and go-getter, that's great. But we can't rely on Martian forcing things and like fighting for things to get us through everything, right? I find it so interesting that when some of that pressure is released as he kind of moves back and does some integration, more creativity can flow through. And I think that's absolutely true for you, Taurus. I think that in that as we feel that shift on September 9th, and we spend most of September and all of October and part of November in this retrograde, your creative flow, your ability to feel like you can kind of show up to these dialogues and these conversations and to these really deep things is so much easier. And I think just tapping into your new life philosophy that you have been developing since the end of 2017. The last 3 years have been huge for you all. And the last couple of years with the work you've done with Uranus have also been huge. That you're going to start noticing that you have already made it there, right? And now it's just a matter of letting this flow come through you. I know that right now it's, with that Two of Pentacles, I just think we have so much information coming at us. If you open the internet ever, or you look at the news, or just anything really, we're constantly inundated by opinions, voices, and echoes of certain like mentalities and modalities. And sometimes it's easy to get like lost in that chatter and to feel almost like we're not allowed to tap into that integral part of ourselves that is tapped to the divine and is trusting and is loving and does feel relaxed and connected, right? It's almost like if I allow myself to go there, I'm being irresponsible. I'm not being realistic enough. I'm not being careful enough with my thoughts. And I think this month is kind of reminding Tauruses that it is okay to go to that part of yourself. It is okay to utilize that part of yourself. And it's not neglecting others. It's not being selfish. It's a very specific type of thing to let yourself feel divine love, even as the world is going through some painful shifts. That is a powerful thing. And I think it's important, and it's showing up here for your reading. So I have an invocation for September and for this Mars retrograde and the equinox season and just this shift in light and shift in season and shift in dynamic that we are going to be experiencing all through September. Here is my invocation to you, beautiful Taurus. May I allow myself to feel all of my emotions and listen deeply to the healing contained within them. May I welcome new ideas and visions into my life. May I put down the heavy armor that no longer serves me. May I usher in a new energetic era with grace. I think you will too. And I really love seeing so much supportive energy here in your reading today, Taurus. There's a there's almost a sassiness to the fact that you've gotten so it's like, all right, all right, Taurus, I think it's time for you to trust yourself a little bit more. Yeah, speaking of Tauruses, I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. You can find her Etsy shop in the link below. She is always creating and coming up with new beautiful designs, so go check her out. You can also find me on Patreon, where I'm going to be doing the deep dive on Mars. We are going to, now that my life's a little less chaotic for the moment, I'm going to actually be able to take some time and really dive deep onto Mars and give you guys some great tools for how to work with it, how to implement the logic of Mars retrograde, because I know it can feel a little overwhelming. Like, what do you do with that? So we're going to go deep there. It's a great resource, weekly resource. There's always something there to work with, so you know where you are with the process. You can also find me on my Instagram or on my website. I'll leave all of the links below so you know where to find me. I'm so looking forward to connecting with you next month as we tap into Scorpio season in October and your mirroring and all of the work that we're going to be doing in the coming weeks. I love you so much. I will talk to you soon. Have a beautiful and blessed September, my loves.